up, y'all? Hey, y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Bianca. Hey. All right, we're back for Activate July 22. This is year 3 for us. Our series that we are focusing on this year is babe care. And babe care is it's a cute, fancy way to say, how are we taking care of ourselves in order to execute business? And we're coming from a perspective of mompreneurs, and we are also coming from perspectives of creatives. So sometimes you might hear us go back and forth because we relate in different areas. So I'm going to allow our guest to introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Imade, and I am a serial entrepreneur based in Los Angeles, California, from Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay. And my brand is called Undress Your Mind. We basically focus on adopting a growth mindset. So that is in all areas of your life, personal, finances, business, and health, fitness, all that stuff. So it's really just making sure that you are, bringing your best self forward, and also showing up as your authentic self. So that is what Undress Your Mind is all about. And I am so excited to talk with you guys and share some good gems today.
Yes, gems. Love it. And Olivia, I love the fact that your business is all about what we're doing this month, and it's all about self-care and looking at new approaches and ways that we can be effective as entrepreneurs. So I love that. We're going to talk heavily about the mindset. So talk about your journey in getting to that place of being like, hey, I got to, renew my mindset in order to be effective.
Woo, I'm so glad you asked me that, because that is where you really reach the pinnacle of okay, boom, I'm really having I'm seeing these things happen in my life to where I'm not progressing. Things are not moving in a direction of growth. They're just kind of staying stagnant. You're kind of years passing by, you're still in the same place. So it's that's how you really got to change something mentally. You really got to tap in and see, okay, so what is it that I'm doing? What is on autopilot that I'm not paying attention to? And then let's go ahead and take those, let's focus in on those things. It could be anywhere from having lack of discipline, procrastination, not believing in yourself, still dealing with trauma from past situations or relationships. And I will talk about environment, because that is a huge deal when it comes to mindset and your growth. So yeah, in all of those areas, you got to make sure that you dissect that and pay attention to your excuse me, your habits, and see, okay, so what is it that I do on a daily basis that I'm not doing? You know what I mean? What am I not doing that's putting me in a space where it's I'm trying to get to the next level of where I want to go? And that's really, for me, where it hit me. I want to say, one, when I stayed in a relationship that was actually pretty traumatizing mentally. I want to say that when I actually, especially the type of heart that I have, I really give people the benefit of the doubt. And I really try to be helpful and try to help, people as much as I can. But this relationship actually drained me and brought me to a place where I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. And it was actually really traumatizing, because now I'm dealing with someone who has a serious mental condition that's really not aware of it, and they don't really want to fix it, and they don't really want to own up to it, but instead they do this thing called blame shifting, and they do this narcissist type of thing where everything is it's either they don't take responsibility, so they kind of blame things and kind of play victim, and then kind of put things on you. And it's that can really tear you down as a person, especially when you're trying to help someone else, but then not realizing their mental health is bringing you down. So when I was in that relationship for a while, that really took me to a space where it brought me very low. And I realized the importance of mental health, because my mental health was messed up and it was down. And it was to the point where it took me years to kind of build myself back to where I am today, and to even start this brand, Undress Your Mind, because it was like years of depression, and not even realizing, that I was really traumatized from being in a relationship where I didn't I didn't have the strength to really figure out how to get out, because those situations, they get really hard to figure out how to maneuver out of it. And I was in that situation, and I felt very stuck, and I felt I mean, I'm not blaming everything on that situation. It was definitely a lot of some of my habits, but I still had the drive. It was just me being around someone who didn't have the drive really brought me down. So that's pretty much where I realized I needed to make the pivot and really focus in on feeding my subconscious mind, because it's your subconscious mind that is affected by all of these things, and how you kind of play your day to day out. Like, it's on autopilot. So,
I love your story, like your backstory, how you're talking. I've never heard any interview that I've done so far. I haven't heard anybody come from a place of like, hey, I'm in a relationship and it's not bringing out the best of me, and I need to figure out how to be the best version of myself. So I love that story, and I think that's really the thing that will pull people toward you, because you know how to speak from that place of kind of like coming out of something that doesn't benefit you anymore. Talk about what that process was like. What did it look like to say, hey, I'm going to walk away from this completely and go after the things that make me my best self?
I love that question too. Okay, so when I was transitioning out of this relationship, and I started to realize that I am really going in circles with this person. He is not growing. If anything, he's getting worse. And now I have a child. I hadn't had a child with this man, and the child is involved. A child really drove me to really, having my daughter really, really drove me to see, okay, one, he's really putting me and her at risk. Okay. Like, for real, these decisions that he's making as a man with a child, very concerning. So I was like, oh yeah, nah. There was definitely a situation that happened. And, I am actually going to make like a whole YouTube series about some of the experiences that I went through, because I think that is so crazy. And when I tell people, they be like, yo, are you kidding me? Like, you went through that? And I'm like, yes, I did. And I can't believe that I did when I tell the story, because it's so crazy. But yes, he was really making some very poor decisions. Like, it was so bad that, even as my daughter was here, it wasn't changing. So I decided to go ahead and make the sacrifice to move out and go stay. Thank God my mom was here already. See, that's how I know God is always watching your back before you even realize what's even going on. Because the way that he set that up, me and my mom weren't on good terms like that. And I want to say we've never really had like a super bondish relationship. Like, sometimes we do, but then it'll go sour like real quick. And I don't really want to be around her sometimes, because it's like the like her mothering style was very different. And so we didn't click a lot of the times. We would butt heads more than anything. So she decided to move out here once she found out that I was pregnant, which I didn't think that was gonna. I honestly thought that me and him were going in a better direction while I was pregnant. And then once the baby came, it just took a complete left. I was just like, what in the world happened? Like, I thought you was getting better. Like, at some point in all the years we've been in a relationship, I actually thought I saw an improvement once he found out that I was pregnant. So I was thinking like, okay, he's going to make some changes. He's actually on his stuff. Like, he's getting, he's serious about this child coming. But then when the child comes, it's like complete flop. And then, so I just moved with my mom, and I still had to deal with him because, of course, the manipulation that came from him making me feel bad for him is why I would always go back, and why I would always, and I think a lot of Black women, we do that, and they take advantage of, I mean, women in general, but mainly I want to specify Black women in particular, because I even see my mom do this in her relationship. And that's why it's generational, because my mom's like doing this, trying to do everything to keep the family together, trying to, even when she's not happy. That's not going to be me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stay and try to make this work. I tried. Okay. But if you are not taking the strides, and you're not taking the right steps you need to as a man, now that we have a child, I see that this was, God already showed me the red flags 10, 15 times before, and I disregarded them because I have faith in you, and I actually believed in you more than you believed in yourself. Not is a red flag. So it's like, just just really just dissecting all of that, and just realizing like I had to make that big girl decision to move away from him. That was really scary, but it was like I had to do what I had to do. Moving into my mom, we were in a very tight space. I have pretty much a newborn child. Like, she's like 2-3 months. That's like crazy pivotal transition from me being with who I actually thought I was going to marry, to now having to move with my mom with a newborn child. Actually, now I'm settling in, like I'm about to be, I'm a single mom. Like, I can already feel it. The way this is going, I'm about to be a single mom. And that was just hard to process. So going from not wanting a child to having a child to moving out to someone who I thought I was going to be married to, who was actually really not okay in the head, for real. Like, it's like, no, Liv, God gonna block it as best as he can, which is just why the Lord is so good. Okay. He gonna block it as best as he can to protect his daughters, period. So I am just here for that.
And I love hearing you talk about like timing. Like, it sounds like, honestly, it sounds like poop, like stuff has to hit the fan in order for you to make moves in a line with what God is asking you to do. Yes. And I know that wasn't an easy space for you to go back to living with your mom, knowing the type of relationship y'all had previously to, like, living it with her as a teenager. Right. So like, so talk about like just getting in that space where you're like, because for me, like the same situation happened for my family, and now we had to move in with family, and I hate it. I did not want to do that crap. I'm telling you. I was like, God, what do I need to learn about myself? What do I need to fix? Like, what pieces of me need to die? Like, what do you need to burn off of me that is not effective for you or your kingdom? So talk about that space where you're like, all right, I'm here now. What am I going to do? How am I going to grind my way to where I want to go? Like, talk about that space.
So actually, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because as soon as I moved in with her, I turned into like full like grind mode. Like, it was like I was like staying like, and it's what's so crazy. This is where I really started to gain my relationship, or get really, really close with God. And it was probably the most practical I have been in my entire life when it came to seeking God, seeking his word, seeking his wisdom, learning more about him, actually learning how to pray. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's like, now it's like, I started reading all these books. I read Fervent, highly recommend for all women. It's basically by Priscilla Charles. Ooh, I don't know if I said her last name right. I need to get better at citing my authors.
Priscilla Schreier.
There we go. Hi, Priscilla, please. I'm sorry. Priscilla girl, that book is so powerful, and it just shows you how active we have to be in prayer, because that season I went through was probably the hardest season of my entire life. And the way I was tapped in with God and praying, and because I knew how to pray, and because I knew that the enemy was attacking me on so many different ways, I knew that, this is not flesh and blood. Like, this is the enemy. So let me just go in my prayer. I went in my mom's closet while everybody was sleeping. mind you, this is like a studio apartment. Like, it's small, okay? And we're already in a very tight space, like maybe 500-600 square feet. It's very small. So I was already just overwhelmed with having to be like my mom, me, and her. And then it's like, but listen, when I tell you that my mindset was so focused on, you know, asking God for the things that I want, asking God to put me in a better situation, praying against the attacks that the enemy was plotting, because he was plotting. Me and my mom were not, we were probably the most we butted heads at this point. Now I'm under her roof. And you know how African parents are, they're very controlling, very controlling. Like they literally still treat you like a child. It's like you're not an adult. And it's like, I get it. Like, I haven't shown that I can be completely independent yet. So it's like you're still treating me a certain type of way. And then now she's putting a lot of input with me and my child and as a mother. And of course, I'm listening. I'm here for it. I want to make sure that I learn. But it was definitely hard because, you know, some of the communication styles would not go well. And it's like, you just can't talk to me like that. I'm sorry, but it's like, you can't talk to me like that. And it's like me trying to convey that to my mom. It's like I'm being disrespectful. There's arguments that come up. You know, she tries to be difficult with me, just to kind of give me a hard time. And, you know, it's like, I wanted to go out. I wanted to still live my life too, you know, and it's like, I need your assistance on some things. And she wasn't really down all the time to help me. And I'm just like, dang, like, how am I supposed to, you know, really still move in a way to where I don't feel so constricted? But then at the same time, I knew that I had to be disciplined too. I had to be disciplined. I had to learn patience. You know, I was praying for my own place. I was praying for you know, my daughter to not have these effects, or to kind of still be in a space of where, you know, I can be able to care for her as a mom, as a new mom, because I'm still new to this. It's still very, you know, I didn't want kids. I'm being straight up. I did not want kids at this time. Timing. I wanted kids at the right time. When I found a man and then you have a baby, then you come on now. The regular routine. That's what I wanted. But instead, okay, I had a baby at 25, still felt like a child. I'm not where I even want to be. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Now I got to think about me and somebody else. And I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to still better myself. I still wanted to figure out how to better myself, because it's like, I'm not, it's so much to try to now take on, learn. Now I got to learn a whole nother realm of just motherhood, you know, teaching my child, being attentive. It's like, it's a lot. So I had to really make some sacrifices and just tap in with God. And he really brought me through. He gave me patience. He gave me all the skills that are necessary for you to really level up and get to the next level of where you're trying to go. And that's what I did. I just locked in. I read books. I taught myself skills. I got really deep into real estate investing. I also got really deep into that's how I started like picking up on a lot of the mindset things, and just how important it is for you to have these kind of principles around, you know, growing and developing into the person that you're trying to become. So yeah, those were some of the things that I went. This is my first time really telling the story, to be honest. I've never told
First of all, goosebumps, because I'm like, yo, that's like so powerful. And it's like, for me, it brings comfort, because a lot of these feelings you had, Olivia, I had those feelings too. And I was kind of ashamed to share them with people. Because, like, especially like coming from like having kids, because girl, like, I did not want to have no kids, okay, at all. And then, you know, as I got older, I was like, you know what? Well, if my husband wants kids, I'll have kids, right? And then I'm in it, and then I'm having like 2 more kids after that. So for me, I felt like I did not have a space to say, this is a lot, because I had like my community around me. They're like, well, you lay down, you want to have these kids, and like it's like, you're not building me up. And it really frustrates me, because you literally lived this, and you are beating up on me for going through something you went through as well.
Yeah.
So
See,
first of all, you for sharing this on live, because I can't wait for so many women to hear this and say, I'm in a space where, you know what, I did not want this for my life. And how do I navigate through what I have? So I really love that you shared that. And for me, I think I've been in a space, and I know a lot of like me not wanting to have kids came from me having to be like another mom, like for my younger siblings, or I'm always babysitting other people's kids. So a lot of that came from there. So it's like, now that I have a chance to enjoy it, it's like I'm not reaping the benefits. So my new place is, God, help me to not see like, okay, my life is played out this way and I'm frustrated. Help me to see why it played out this way. And when I look back at my kids, every time I got an opportunity to go on tour, to do dance stuff, I would get pregnant. And I would be so mad. Like, I was about to go on tour. I was about to pop. Like, yes. So now I'm like, okay, this happened because that's not where you want me to go. Like, that's not what you want me to do for dance. Like, and that's not even to say, I don't want you to go tour. I don't want you to go on tour. I'm saying not right.
And direction, right.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing that, Olivia, because I can't wait for people, like women, to hear that part. Not saying that you don't have kids, just getting through that emotion of how do I settle in where I am now.
Yes. And postpartum depression is real. Like, I didn't even know that I was experiencing it at all until I started to see all the things I was going through after I had Aaliyah. And then it's kind of just like, dang, like I was not expecting this. And it's like, this is not what I wanted. And it's like, dang, like you start to kind of just let everything sink in, and it just gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming. Your body's is changing, the hormones, you got to breastfeed. I had a C-section. Okay. And that C-section hurt. I don't know what my doctor was doing, but listen, ladies, make sure that you take the time to find a good doctor that cares about you for real, because I'm not saying that my doctor didn't care. It's just that he has so many patients that the emotion was kind of out of it. And on top of that, it was a male doctor. I should have had a female doctor. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just the experience overall. I could have made it better, at least with my selection. But at the same time, I'm just giving tips on what I went through and just kind of what I think will make your pregnancy experience better. But yes, I had a C-section, and it was unexpected. And the healing process, it definitely took a toll on my body. And then on top of all the things I was going through. So postpartum is real, and we don't talk about that enough. And it's like, we just need to like just make sure that women have a safe space to express these things without feeling guilty, because I used to feel ashamed for like feeling kind of like on the selfish side of like, dang, like I didn't have my stuff together yet. I'm not ready to be a mom for real. I'm not. So now I feel very comfortable to talk about it, because it's the truth. And it's literally and this is why I say cater to your authentic self. Like, don't be afraid to be raw and to be real, because at the ending of the day, these are your true feelings. But it's not like I'm sitting here saying that, I don't want to like have more kids. Like, no, I do actually. Like, when my husband comes around, we gonna pop out probably like the way Sierra did. Okay. So yeah, anyway, that's definitely how I felt about that. And I think it is important for women to just have that space to talk for real and be real about motherhood.
I love it. Just that part. Like, just being real in that space. I saw like this woman recorded a video of her house, and she was like, let's like normalize like moms having to do a lot and your house being messy. And like the magnitude of her messy made me feel good about my messy, because
listen, my house is messy right now. I'm over here like those clothes got to get folded. I got to do these dishes over here. Like, I need to see that post.
Gotta find it and tag you, because I was like, real. Girl, okay, because I'm like, I don't know. And I honestly, I was talking to God, and God was like, I am calling entrepreneurs who are being transparent. Like, that's what I want, because when you're looking on social media, sometimes it makes you feel like horrible that you're not doing some of these things that people are not even doing in their own homes anyway.
Exactly.
And it kind of just feel like, I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing this right. I'm not everything right. So I think again, thank you for being transparent, because we need, especially from like a Black mompreneur perspective, we really need to like, how can we balance it all? And how can we tear down those limiting beliefs that were passed down from generation?
Okay. Tearing down those beliefs is key, for real. Like, that is one thing that will really help you to break that curse moving on to the next generation, because I didn't even realize how many of the things I was taking from my mom and putting it on my daughter, and realizing that I'm doing the same thing my daughter or my mom was doing to me. And it's like, it's like, you don't even realize it. When the importance is having that self-awareness, like, okay, this is happening. God gives you that. So then you go in, you make your corrections, and you start to practice patience and all these skills you need to have with children. Okay. Cause you gotta have some patience. And that's one thing I did not have. And I'm just like, why? Like, what? No, you gotta have patience, Liv. Just calm down, just relax, just repetition. Keep telling her, she gonna get it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Girl, yes, I'm over here laughing because my 3-year-old girl, she never, like, I'm gonna say she never, but sometimes she's gonna put her back where they belong. And I like go crazy because I'm like, can you please put this up back? So now, like, I get her at moments and she's like, Mommy, I put my washcloth and my towel away.
That's how you know that they are doing. Listen, when they do that, they know they doing something right, because they announce it. They let you know. They like, Mommy, I wash my face. Mommy, I brush my teeth. Mommy, I do. I'm like, yes, let me know. Please let me know that you listen to what I'm saying, because that let me know that we on the same page now. So yes. And
it gives you like a chance to celebrate. And you're like, you know what? I'm not as bad as I think I am. Because, our kids look at us and they're like, I just love you. You're just so amazing. And we don't see that ourselves sometimes. Like, why?
I will say that my daughter definitely makes me feel that way, for real. Like, even like yesterday, like even this morning, like, what? That's amazing.
I'll be like, girl, what are you looking at? Because I don't feel that way.
And she be looking at me with this face, like this face of like admiration. I'm like, this girl is like, love her mama.
Yes, and it helps you keep going. And then it makes you go back and say, I'm not doing as horrible as I think I'm doing.
There you go. I'm so glad you said that. That guilt, that's another guilt. Because I'll be like, real. With that. I'll be getting down on myself. But no, you're right.
Yes, Liv. Oh my gosh. Y'all, interview number 4. And I'm not reading off of my paper. Okay. This is how you know this is like a real, authentic, genuine conversation, like entrepreneur perspective. So yes. I don't even know, like, is there anything I should ask? How do you manage boundaries? All right. So you talked about kind of having to discipline yourself in areas. So now that you're disciplined in that area, how do you maintain that?
Okay, so girl, you asking me some really good questions, for real, because these are some of the things that I have really took more seriously lately. My light just went off. I'm so sorry. It's like, and it keeps going out.
You're good. We can still see you though.
Okay, because I think it's dying. Okay. Okay. So boundaries. I literally had to look a little bit more in depth on the reason why boundaries are so important and how I need to implement them when it comes to certain areas. And that comes to motherhood, like even with my child, that comes to relationships with my mom, family, it comes to friendships too, it comes to work related boundaries. I turn off my phone at this time, I don't answer this after this time, type of thing. So just kind of like really getting stern about your schedule, one. and knowing like this is what's on my plate for today, and if anything tries to intercede with that, then I have the boundary that said that no, like, you know, this is where I can fit you in, but other than that, we're going to have to either reschedule or kind of, you know, those kind of boundaries when it comes to scheduling. Then when it comes to work, it's like making sure that you have like a proper work life balance. So it's like making sure that work doesn't fall into that's where we're going to hop into self-care. Work doesn't spill into your personal life so much to where you're not able to really pour back into yourself. Because if you can't pour back into yourself, then now you're working from a depriving space, and that's really not where God, like, I just learned about that. God doesn't want us working like that. Okay. He doesn't want us to be like drinking coffee and like 24/7 and going super hard. Yeah, I'm gonna go hard this week. Yo, yeah. You can go hard, but it's like understand that he wants us to rest as well, and understand what that rest really means. Like put in the work, right? Because faith without works is dead, but making sure that you also implement time to rest. Super important, super essential to your growth. Super essential for you to hear from God, super essential for you to quiet down all that excessive noise and really tap in and really recollect. It's a time to just be still for a second. And you need that. And that is a good boundary to put in place. I mean, if it need to be once a month where you go on a staycation and you disconnect from the world and you rest, really rest for real. And then let yourself hear God, and your mind is more quiet that way. Because really it's quieting down your mind. You know, we have like so many thoughts that go through our mind like in seconds. That's literally how our brain is functioning. All these thoughts is circling in our minds, and it's like we got to quiet that down, and we got to have that time to rest. So that is a good boundary to put in place for your mental health, for building yourself up mentally and mindset. And also it's actually really rewarding because it's like God, he made the earth or the world in 6 days, right? He went in, boom, 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 boom. 6 days. On that 7th day, what did he do? He rested. And he's very serious about that Sunday rest. And that's why it's like, I don't want to be working on Sunday. Sunday's not a day to be working. Like, I can organize my week, but I'm not going to be working. It's a rest. I work 6 days, let me rest. So I really like the fact that and also this is where I'm going to hop into saying knowing when to say no, or knowing when to know. I have a mastermind, or there's a mastermind group that I'm a part of. It's called Todd Capital Mastermind, and every morning we meet at 8:00 and we talk about a lot of things with entrepreneurship, developing skills to be able to make sure that we're getting to where we need to go in our business. It's really based around entrepreneurship and business. And one of the things that we have to learn how to do is set boundaries. So it's like knowing when to know, knowing when to say no, knowing when it's like, all right, I cannot do this, and I'm not ashamed to say no. Like, it's like, for me, I'm such an accommodating person. I always want to make other people happy. It's like a customer service thing of mine. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just always want to be like, well, this won't work, but I have like another alternative. But no, sometimes it's just a flat no. You know what I mean? So just being more stern about that. There's also a book I would recommend. Oh, dang, I don't even remember. I'm going to pull it up right now because it's honestly a book. Charlemagne interviewed her on the Breakfast Club, and it was such a good book that I actually want to read. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to recommend it for y'all to read because it's good from what I heard.
Yes. Look, while Olivia's pulling it up, I hope y'all notice a lot of entrepreneurs are talking about books, reading books, feeding your mind with things that can help you. So I love that you guys are like sharing like different reads, because I'm going to go look these books up. Okay.
Oh yeah, let me tell you what it is right now because I found it. So her name is Nedra, and I think you'll absolutely love Nedra as a person because I love like just her personality and some of the things that she was dropping in, because she's actually a psychologist or a therapist or something like that. So it's actually good to hear her talk about boundaries coming from a therapist, you know? So the book is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace, a guide to reclaiming yourself. I like that title. It's like it just hits different. It's like, oh yeah,
Okay.
that's what I need in my life. anything,
Look,
anything to, right, anything to drive peace in my life, I'm here for it.
Okay, like I'll end it real fast. Okay, time to back up. Okay, back up.
People take you more seriously when you set boundaries. Like if you don't have any boundaries, people gonna feel like they can run over you and treat you any type of way. Like no, you gotta show that you have structure and just yourself, because if you don't, then people will take advantage of that for sure. And I have definitely noticed that with me. So that's why I'm like, I need to take boundaries more seriously. How do people think they can just do this? Like, you cannot do this.
And look, another thing that helps me is like, okay, because I'm not good at like keeping those boundaries when it comes to people, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. So
telling you, me too. Me too.
Like when you see people that kind of say, all right, well, I'm not doing this because of this, like people you might be connected with, you're like, wait, they're setting this boundary. I didn't know I could do that. So I'm gonna set that boundary.
Exactly, girl. I'll be like, wait, hold on. I can set that same boundary. Like, I'm not excluded from that. I can do that too. So it just makes you feel like, because I'm such a nice person. Like I'm always trying to, and that can also be taken advantage of. It's like you set the boundary, okay, I don't play about this, or I don't do this, or I'm not about that, or this is a no for me. Like, oh, okay, I can't do that with her. Yeah, you can't. Just go ahead and get that in your head.
Okay, like working in the professional world has really given me my voice in politely telling people no. But
that's so
you have the audacity, to say or ask me this. But I've learned how to communicate that like in a professional manner,
effective way. Oh, that's so good, girl. That is probably what the book emphasizes on, because I think Charlemagne had asked her some questions about how do you, let people know, or how do you, he just has so many good questions that we could all relate to when it comes to setting boundaries, because we really don't realize how important it is to really set boundaries for real. Like these folks out of control. So yeah, like I'm glad you mentioned that. So that's good. That's good for all of us to take in.
Yes, y'all. These interviews just keep getting better and better. I'm just so excited. But yes, Olivia, this is so good. Even talking about boundaries, this is like my quiet time. Everybody is in their room or taking a nap right now. Like, so this is very important that I'm able to get to this space to be like, all right, no, this is mommy's time to be alone. You have to honor that boundary. And my oldest child came out here like 3 times, and I'm like, no.
I saw that, and you know what? You handled that very well. And you know what's so crazy? My daughter does not understand that boundary yet, and she does not, because she'd be sitting over there and she'd be like, mommy, and just ask me a whole entire question, knowing I'm doing something over here. And I'm like, I know I just told her that I'm over here I'm in a meeting. Quiet. Like, come on. So no, she will be like, no, I have a question.
Now, girl, my middle child, she did no limit soldier. Like she'd be like, no, but I have a question. But I need to tell you something.
But I need to write. Oh my God, what is it? And it'd be nothing important.
Okay, like please stop.
Like, okay, really?
Yes. Is there anything you wanted to add, like as far as where people can find you? At the end of the video, like when it's aired on YouTube officially, it'll have like a QR code so people can just scan and like find you now, like your Instagram or your Twitter, whatever you're using, just drop it down, and I'm going to add like a link for it. So you can go ahead and tell people where to find you and the services that you offer.
Perfect. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at Undress Your MND. It's not mine because Instagram says someone has mine, but I didn't see anybody that has it. So we're going to have to talk about that. But MND for now. And then Twitter is Undress Your Actual Mind with MIND. And then TikTok is also the same, Undress Your Mind. You can also find me on YouTube. I have a podcast that talks about most of these topics that we discussed today, which is awesome. So you can check us out on YouTube at Undress Your Mind. And then also at my website, undressyourmind.com. We have a Facebook community where we focus on driving that mindset within and growing within our community. So make sure that you click the link in my Instagram bio. You have access to all of those links there to be able to subscribe to the group. And also, if you want to join our mastermind, the link is also in there as well. I would highly encourage you to do so if you haven't been in a mastermind. Masterminds are key to getting you to the next level. Seriously, being surrounded by people that push you, want to see you win, want to see you grow. We all are on the same page. It's literally like life-changing. So I would highly suggest that you join that. And I think that is about it. I will be dropping some merch actually really soon because I've been getting a lot of requests from the shirts that I've been wearing, and I've been like overthinking it, of course, which we're going to talk about overthinking. It'll slow you down. Okay. So we're going to drop those shirts real soon. Okay. Because they are nice. And I actually really do like them. I just wanted to kind of make them better, but no, they're nice. Whatever. Put them out. And make sure you stay tuned for some of the upcoming episodes that I have. We're going to be switching to in person real soon. So I'm really excited about some of the interviews I have coming up. And that is it.
Hey, thank you so much, Olivia, for giving us your time and just being authentic. This is what Bright and Brave Enterprise is all about. Just being real about the struggles of mompreneurship or from a perspective of a creative. But thank you so much because this was so good, so fulfilling. I appreciate you.
So much, girl. This was such a great conversation for real. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely authentic. I was a little nervous. I'm like, dang, I need to go through these questions, make sure I'm prepared. And then you said you wanted to be authentic. I'm like, yes, that's like the best way to go. But it's good to have a framework. So you show me that you're organized and that you put together, so that I can make sure that I have my stuff together. So it still came out amazing. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Oh my gosh. Y'all, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you talk about your favorite part of the interview. Where can you relate? Okay, where can you relate? Talk to us about that. Make sure you shout out Olivia and just say thank you under the comments. If you related to her, it always helps us to keep putting out content like this if you guys tell us what's going well with the content. But thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys again next Monday. Bye.